Holograms on my gaming setup, this is the future. As a kid, watching and being amazed by the Princess Leia hologram in Star Wars, as well as wishing I could own my own holodeck from Star Trek, I dreamt of the day when holograms would exist in any way in my home. And well, that day is pretty much here. This is the CubeVi, or CubeC1. It is a holographic 3D spatial photo display that essentially turns your photos into holograms. And it's all about the size of your phone. The hologram it produces is actually pretty real, but let's not just talk about it. Let me show you. Here is how the CubeC1 arrives, and this is everything that it comes with. So over here on the left, you've got the main unit, which is called the Companion 01. It also comes with the device stand. And these two cords here are an HDMI to mini HDMI cable, as well as a USB to Type-C cable. The stand is adjustable because it also comes with a little Allen wrench. And lastly, you've got the user manual. Now, the CubeC1 does not work on Macs, which kind of stinks because I usually only use Macs, but I do have a PC, which is what we're gonna have to run this on. Let me grab the PC and we'll set it up. Oh my God, this PC's got so much dust on it. Now, something I forgot to show you that it did come with is these little sticker magnets that are going to go on the back of the Companion so that it can stick to this. Oh, yeah, my favorite part of taking any electronic out of the box. Next step is just plugging in the cords, two to your computer and two to this little CubeVi device. Now, the last part of the setup that you're gonna wanna do is download a program called CubeStage. I've already downloaded it, so let's open that up. It's going to tell you that it's detecting the screen or that the screen is detected. And then you're gonna wanna download all 5 of these. I've already downloaded them, but they're the 5 programs that CubeStage comes with. There is more that you can do with this, but I will get to that here in just a little bit. So let's start out with 3D Clock. 3D Clock is super simple. It essentially just casts a calendar or date onto your device that you can then look at in 3D. Now, it's important to note that you'll see it cut like that. If you have a faster computer than I do, which is a 2016 to 2017 gaming laptop that is definitely almost a decade old at this point, it's gonna run a lot smoother. It right now is a little bit choppy, but you can see that it is 3-dimensional. If you ever wanna correct that and you have a better computer, you can go down here to the bottom right. It says if the 3D effect doesn't look right, calibrate it manually, and then you can actually calibrate it with this little slider. But mine's not gonna get any better, so I'm gonna leave it at 1. So in here, this is the default calendar, but you can actually, with any of these programs really, create your very own hologram. You can go to Create, Eric's 3D, and there are going to be a bunch of things you can mess around with, like a background. You can also change the font that it has. You can change the font color, a bunch of different things, the font size, all of that stuff so that it fits on your screen correctly. Next up, let's look at Lightrix 3D. Now, Lightrix 3D is basically a wallpaper that comes alive. As you can see, it creates like a cool 3D background, and you will also be able to overlay the 3D clock over this if you want to. So as you can see, it's 3-dimensional, looks really cool. Again, a little choppy on my computer, but if you've got a good PC, it's gonna run a lot better. And then as with all these other programs, there are a ton of different options for this. There's also some not safe for work ones. We're not gonna click on that, but we will click on a different one just so you can see. There you go. This is like kind of like a PC. You could probably put a picture of your own PC if you've got a cool one. Let's move on. Lightrix 3D is pretty cool. Let's move on to CuPal or CuPal. So CuPal is basically a companion for your desk. This is probably one of the big reasons why someone would buy this. As you can see, I've downloaded 2 of the characters, Robin and Lan Yan. There's also a bunch of other characters if you click on all that you can choose from. You can also create your own characters. Now, something that I have not found to work is the voice input. I haven't figured out how to make it work. So if you know how to make it work, let me know down in the comments below. So here you can see Robin is 3-dimensional again. She looks really cool. Since I can't do the voice input or can't figure out how to get that to work, we're gonna go over to chat. Now over here, you can say anything to her. You can say, hey, what's up? What's your favorite anime? And then you can press enter, and then she's gonna type back just like any other LLM conversation. Also, if you want her to talk, I don't think her voice is very good yet, but you can click this play button.
Hello, Trailblazer. It's always a joy to see you. As for Denim, I must confess that my
and it just cut out. So as you can see, the text to voice is not very good yet. I think this is definitely gonna be an update that they need to make. We'll talk about that more here in the review in a second. But there you go, you can talk to her and then she's kind of like three-dimensional, so it feels like she's interacting with you over here. Definitely a lot of kinks to work out. And then over here, reminder, you can also create a reminder. So you can create, you know, remind me I have a meeting at 12 p.m. And then down here, you can select the time and she'll remind you of it. Next up is RealPlay. Now this one is really cool. This is another kind of thing like Lightrix where you can upload a picture, but this one is really cool because you can upload an object. So let me exit out of this. So you can click on an object, click on preview, and then it's gonna render this object onto your secondary screen to make it a hologram. And again, as you can see, it's kind of sketchy because my computer can't really handle this, but you can see the application of how cool it could be. And so you can upload your own object in here. It's gonna cut it out like this to a black background, and then you're able to look at your object in 3 dimensions, or hologram. And the last program that we have in here is called 3D Monitor. Now, this is basically a customizable screen where it will show you your CPU usage, your RAM usage. Say we have Legend of Zelda 1, which is the first thing that came up. Let's download that, let's apply that. And so as you can see over here, you can see my CPU usage, you can see my RAM usage, and you can see the GPU percentage, as well as a bunch of other information. And again, it's, you know, 3-dimensional, assuming you had a better computer. Mine's still making it 3D and holographic a little bit. But to be perfectly honest, this is probably what I'm gonna use this the most for because I like to monitor this, and this is just kind of a cool aesthetic way to do it. Now, additionally, there are other things that you can do in here. Like I said, any of these, you can upload your own pictures and your own files so that you can mess around with them. There's also a Discord link right here, and then you've also got settings, and you can also set up your profile, and there are just a bunch of customizations that you can do within this software. So now that we've tested out the Cube C1 device, is it worth it? Let's talk about pros, cons, and let's just do a full review of this thing. Now, clearly, this is not a hologram like in Star Wars or Star Trek. Bummer. But it does create a pretty cool holographic effect, especially if your computer is fast enough to run it. Hopefully they'll get a device soon that runs on Mac, which is what I use all the time and where my fastest system is, because then I would be using this thing all the time. Now, the pros for this thing is that number one, it has a super easy setup. It's just basically plug and play. You download the program, it works. Pro number two is the endless possibilities with this product. I mean, the customization alone inside of CubeStage is amazing. There are a ton of things that you can do within it, uploading your own files or using the files that are available to you, building out your own characters and all of that. Also, something I didn't show you, on their website, you can actually integrate this with Blender or Unity to build out some really crazy projects that I can't even think of, but I'm sure you can. Now, there are obviously cons with this as well, which is that you need a faster system to run this, which I did not have. I'll throw my specs up on screen right here so you can see what I was dealing with. And to be fair, the company sent me this to review, but they even told me that my computer was pretty slow and that I'd probably need a faster one, but I said, I'm gonna do it anyways. And this is what happened. We got some lagginess. The other thing I noticed, which may have been just because my computer was slow, but I don't think so, is that within CubeStage, within some of these programs, some of the stuff looked a little bit off-centered. There was obviously the conversation issue that I was having within CuPal. So I definitely see some upgrades they could do to this software to make it a lot better. Overall though, it is completely up to you whether or not you think this device is for you or not. I will leave a link down in the description below if you want to go get it yourself. It is right now on sale for $149. I would just suggest that you do have a PC fast enough to run it. I want to give a huge shout out to CubeVi for sending me this to try out. It was definitely something that I've never really messed around with and something that I don't usually do on this channel, but it was super cool to check out. So I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you guys for watching this entire video. If you'd like to hit that subscribe button, that would be pretty sweet. There's also a bunch of really cool links down in the description below for you to check out. I'm gonna be coming out with a ton of video reviews as we approach Christmas, so get ready for that. I'm super excited. And with that, thank you for joining me here on Eric's Tech World, where tech and adventure meet. I'm Eric, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.